So I think there's some questions that certainly we'll ask in a few minutes, a few seconds. But so there's a $78 million contract that is in place on the bridge, and I want to let you know that 50% of that has been expended. About 50% of that has been expended, but 50% of it is available to us and is going to help offset these long-term costs. So we've saved, by coming on December 11th, of course, the $40 million has been spent or so, but we have been able to reserve that, and I think that's a really important point as we cobble together the way that we're going to be able to pay for this in a way that's not going to have a serious impact on our taxpayers. But I do want to mention that that prior to this session, we've met with our congressional delegation in their office, along with Mayor Smiley, Mayor De Silva, and as well as Senate President, some of the members from the Senate, as well as the Speaker and some of the members from the House, and continually, having the discipline on the current budget is going to make a lot of sense, and I'm certainly asking the leadership there to try to help and assist in that way. So some discipline on this current budget is going to be certainly part of the overall plan in terms of addressing this issue. So I do know that it is very understandable, the frustration that surrounds this issue. And it's certainly appropriate, an appropriate reaction. I share that with you. The upside of the news today, though, is we understand the problem, and we have a plan to fix it. And that's exactly what we are going to do, and we will certainly keep the public informed along the way. And with that, I'll, besides saying we'll build the bridge, I will take some questions. Andrea, if you could help out with this, please.
We're going to start up here with Kathy. We have microphones going around so people at home can hear the questions. So wait for Cal, and then we'll be at the mic. Right here, Kathy.
I know. I'm sorry not proposing to you, Kathy.
There is a serious question in here. Governor, you said a day of reckoning is coming soon for those responsible. Number one, how soon? Based on what you know so far, who is responsible, and what is the status of the current contracts with your current owner's rep, AECOM, and Barletta and Aetna, the joint venture that has the bridge contract now?
Yeah, so, and as I said in my remarks, that's a work in progress at the moment, right? That we're coming to those determinations. I just want to make sure that the people in the state of Rhode Island know that they have my promise that those who are held accountable are going to be held accountable. And as I mentioned in my remarks, that there's legal ramifications to that issue. We're just like our office stepped in and put an engineer that is, perfectly qualified, capable to give us the advice, which is the final analysis that you're hearing today. We're assembling a legal team to do the same thing, to make sure that we are proceeding in a timely way to hold people accountable. So the day of reckoning may be slow in some ways, but we will get to the end, because that's certainly part of the overall objective to build the bridge, to replace the bridge, and to and have the funds to do it.
Just following up on one piece of that, you've assembled, or you're assembling a legal team. Who's on it? Who did you hire?
So that's happening now, just as we were before when we were putting together the engineer that has Jeff has given that presentation today, and I would say that I've met with more engineers in the last 7 or 8 weeks than I would have imagined. So we appreciate MBJ's help, and I know that we'll have equal competence relative to the legal process that may unfold and is likely to unfold.
Right here to Ray.
Are we going to be in charge or continue in charge of DOT? That's the first question. And second, why we sanitize the information? What we know was a lazy inspector from his office. They don't want to go under the hatch to look at the bridge when they told them that it was broken in July. And then back, they just changed the story. A young engineer find the issue? Come on, tell the truth to the community or what happened. And let Albiri answer the question though, because we know, because we had the picture, there was a painter who find the problem.
Yeah, so the first answer to the question, I have confidence in DOT and the management team there and the director to, start and complete this project. And also the team that's in place, whether it has to do with all the different departments in the state that are absolutely engaged in this. So, and then on the last point is that, again, I'm going to restate that that is a work in progress in terms of the accountability piece, and we will keep you posted as we get that information, just like we're doing today.
Go to Patrick.
I just want to piggyback on Kathy's question. She asked if the contracts for AECOM and Aetna Barletta, have those been terminated? Have they been fired?
No, but we have indicated that we'll be going out for a competitive bid on the demolition of the bridge.
Wait, to clarify, you just said that we've stopped payment on Barletta's contract at 50%, and now you're saying it's not terminated? Can you explain how
Yes.
that works?
So half of it has been expended on the original agreement, right, that was started in 2018. Half of it has not been expended, and we believe that we'll be able to, there's a preparation in order to take down or demolish the bridge. There's a preparation that needs to be made, which we are in the process of doing, which has to do with shoring up the bridge, replacing or fixing or working on the rods. So that's in progress. So that's that's a shift, but it's an extension on the current work to prepare the bridge for demolition. When we go out for demolition, as I think is mentioned by the director, that will be a competitive bid, and going forward, it'll be a competitive bid on any work that's done on that bridge.
Did you consider using Barletta under an emergency contract so that you don't have to go out to bid and wait months to get someone in place? Would that have been a faster way to go? And then tied to that is any of the work that they have been doing, and Cardi did before that, over 50 million and counting, is all of that essentially going in the river?
Well, first of all, we're going to go up for competitive bid because that's what we believe that we'll get the best pricing, and we'll also get the best quality of the individuals that do that work, from demolition to replacing the bridge, as it was described by the director as well as Jeff from NJB. And then what was the second part of it?
Did you consider an emergency contract to have Barletta stay in place because they were on the bridge, do it on an emergency basis so you didn't have to wait several months to get it going?
So I've answered that. We're going to go to competitive bid on the work that has to do with the demolition through the replacement of the bridge.
And all the other problems, is all the other work wasted?
Yeah, I've just said that about half of the $78 million contract is available for us to apply to the next stage, but half of it is, we'll come back and tell you whether there's any value to that at all, but probably not a lot.
We're going to go to Tom.
Governor, you lay out this timeline here. Is it your intention that the director be part of this project from now to the end? And then, director, why did it take so long to find some of these other structural deficiencies that weren't initially presented?
Yeah, so let me answer the question again in terms of my confidence in DOT, the management team there, which includes the director, along with all the partners that we have put in, and our office is clearly taking a leading role on this with the engineers, with the legal team, and then I did briefly talk about the finances in my initial comments when I came back up to the podium. We're taking a very hands-on, direct approach to that. So it'll be a partnership that we will have between all the different offices, including DOT.
So, but when you talk about a reckoning, though, like those are pretty strong words. Like
I meant to be strong.
but is that a
I'm
warning?
not happy about the fact that where we are right now. I don't know if you got that impression. I usually don't raise my voice.
Sure.
But I am not happy where we are right now when I just told you that half of a $78 million project is, as was just termed, is going into the river, or a portion of, a good part of it is. The good news there is that we've saved $40 million to actually get into the next step. But go ahead, sorry I
No,
interrupted.
you're fine. Are you willing to call out that specific company, or do you have an inclination who you finds the blame here?
I would describe it the same way that, you know, again, I've been trying to answer as best I can the questions leading up to this moment when we're saying we're replacing the bridge. And I've been very careful to make sure that that's our final decision before I actually spoke about it. So I would say the same thing relative to any legal process that will unfold. I don't want to get into ahead of myself, but I certainly will come back to the podium and I'll tell you who's, you know, who in fact we're going to be holding accountable in this whole drama, right? It's one that we, yes, like I said, that is strong words. I'm glad you noticed that because we mean business here on behalf of the taxpayers.
We're going to go to Brian next.
Governor, in terms of your tone and what you're saying right now, did you learn something in the past couple of weeks through the information you got that has led you now to this point where you're expressing your unhappiness and this day of reckoning?
Yeah, and again, I think I mentioned that in my comments. I'll just repeat that. The findings show additional significant structural deficiencies that cannot viably be repaired. So yes, the answer is yes, and that's part of what I'm saying here is that I don't want to get ahead of myself because I don't think I would have been prepared to say that a few weeks back or a month back, but I am prepared to say that today.
Is it fair to say somebody missed something here that should have been caught a while ago?
I think we'll let that process unfold, but like I said, there's a process that's coming and accountability is not too far away.
I'm going to go to Gabrielle next.
Governor, in January, the state knew about some additional deficiencies beyond the broken tie-down rods, but RIDOT had said that repair work on those rods and other parts of the bridge was continuing at the same time that these engineering reports were being worked on. Now that we know that the bridge needs to be demolished, do you think that was a mistake to spend that time and money on that repair work?
No, as I just mentioned, is that there's work that needs to be done to shore up the bridge so that we can safely demolish the current structure. So that work that has to do with work that's been ongoing since that moment in time is in preparation of, you know, of the possibilities of either reopening the bridge, right, potentially, that was still on the table, or, you know, the fact that you have to have the bridge safe, which remember, safety is our #1 priority, absolute #1 priority. So, yeah, so no, I would say that the work that has been done from that moment in time is in preparation of the options that we had on the table, but, you know, we've clarified those options today, you know, the fact that the bridge is going to be replaced.
We'll go to Matt next. Back here. All set. Back to Chris.
Are for around 18 to 24 months, but for a lot of, especially local businesses, they worry about just trying to get through this year. What can be offered for them beyond the SBA loans? So many businesses don't want to take out these additional debts.
Yeah, so you know, I'm a small business owner myself, and I actually went through multiple crises, whether it was the banking crisis way back in the 90s, or was the internet bubble in 2000, or it had to do with the real estate collapse in 2010 timeframe. And of course, I think everybody knows that I was hands-on relative to the COVID issues for our small businesses. I'm not sure there was any elected official that did more you know, before I was a governor and after a governor. So I have my same focus on that. And we are engaged in conversations, direct conversations. I think we had a little mix-up the other day where we were supposed to meet with the East Providence mayor in my office with a handful of businesses. We got mixed up a little, so I just called them all directly. And so there is a problem that needs to be addressed, and we intend to address that, and options are open.
Going back to Josh.
I'm not sure if these questions are just for the governor, but asking if we might be able to hear from Mayors Smiley and De Silva any reaction for their communities going to have to deal with this for upwards of 2 years moving forward.
The podium's yours if you want it. But I'll stand by here to take it back after you're done. Thanks, man.
I mean, I think what a lot of people in the community were looking for was an idea of what the next steps were. I think this is the first start where people can do some long-term planning. Our community will continue to work with the governor's team, our congressional delegation, and anyone we can work with to try to bring resources to bear to assist our small businesses. We have a small business forum fair that we have scheduled for the 21st of March at 6 p.m. at the Riviera Restaurant, inviting all of our businesses. We're working with Commerce, RI, Secretary Tanner, and all of the different agencies and organizations out here that provide assistance to businesses, to have them speak directly to the businesses so that they can offer and inform them of some of the programs that are out there to assist them. So the biggest concern I've been hearing all along from people was the unknown. It looks like we have a plan, and everyone understands that the bridge needs to be replaced. And at least now, when you know there's a plan, there's a timeline, you can make plans, you can adjust.
Yeah, similar to Mayor De Silva, I think residents of Providence, just like the residents of East Providence and Rhode Islanders in general, are resilient and can make adjustments now. We all needed to know the plan. And so in the city of Providence, we're looking at and have a menu of options that we've been waiting for this word today to make some more permanent infrastructure plans to the detour route or the alternate route. We still have, traffic cones and temporary signage up and things like that, that now that we know this is going to be a couple years, you're going to start to see some more permanent changes so that those who do take a bypass over the Henderson Bridge and through Wayland Square will be able to do so in a better way, that the business owners there, pedestrians and cyclists who enjoy that very walkable neighborhood can do so safely. And just like the state budget and the city of East Providence, it's budget season in Providence as well. And we'll be looking to see what other assistance can be made to the impacted businesses. I also want to continue, and I know Mayor De Silva, I think I can speak for him, there continues to be never a better time to support your local businesses, and the additional bypass lanes that are being opened on the other side, the other part of the bridge, is going to make a measurable difference. I'm very excited about that. I'm very encouraged by that work. That'll be open in a couple weeks, as the director said. And so for everyone who's still thinking about coming to Providence or East Providence for dinner or for shopping, we would encourage you to please do so. One, because it's actually not that much longer than it used to be, and will be even better in just a couple of weeks. And two, as a source of kind of civic responsibility, your neighbors are the employees of these businesses, and they need your support. And so I would ask everyone to do their best to continue to patronize the businesses that are most acutely affected in the mayor's community and in my own.
Yeah, first, thanks, mayors, and again, thank you for your help. And not only I'm a small business person with background, but also I've been a former mayor. So, certainly my commitment from our office, Mayor Smiley and Mayor De Silva, certainly is with you and your community.
Governor, considering how the state launched on the ambitious bridge repair program known as Roadworks under your predecessor in 2016, why wasn't the depth of problems that are being outlined today, why wasn't this known sooner?
Yeah, I understand the question, and I'm doing my best to tell you that I don't have, with that still under review. I'm not going to put out bits and pieces of the issue, just like I just mentioned in terms of if I was putting bits and pieces out of the final decision that was offered today. We will let that unfold, but I can just tell you that. Again, my promise is to make sure that those answers are answered and that those who are accountable, if in fact it goes back in time, let's go back as far as we need to go to hold people accountable. And like I said, I will be engaging a legal team to kind of be exploring that with DOT's legal team, just like we have with our engineers. We're going to use the same model.
And just to be clear, in terms of the estimated $250 million to $300 million cost, is that the total cost, or is that just the state's share of the traditional 80-20 split with the feds?
So it's total cost, 80-20 at the moment, and certainly we will be asking to improve that if that's possible. Again, I think I've made public that I've had direct, personal, one-on-one conversation with the President of the United States on this issue. It has been reported in the national news that Secretary Buttigieg will be here in Rhode Island and Philadelphia, where there's probably the two most recent bridge emergencies that are in place. So we are fully expecting that, the CODEL or our congressional delegation, I've had personal conversations with them, again, with a collective conversation just before we came in here today. It'll be a team approach, and again, the General Assembly issues are important for us as we're going through a budget process as we speak in terms of overall, planning in terms of that cost. But that's a gross number, and our percentage right now is 20% of that.
My question is for Director Alviti. Director, you've been director of RIDOT since 2015. Why should Rhode Islanders still have faith in your leadership and your ability to get this project done?
I think the answer to that is in our demonstration of competency, in the way that our team at RIDOT in the last 7 years have built nearly 300 bridges, all which were equal to or some worse than the condition of this bridge. We've done that, and we evolved since 7 years ago, when prior to 7 years ago, the completion statistics on bridge projects was less than 50% on time, on budget, and with over 27% of our bridges in Rhode Island being structurally deficient. Our folks have rebuilt 300 of those bridges, brought the deficiency from 27 down to about 14 at present, and we're on a glide path to getting to less than 10% in the next 10 years, 2 years rather. That demonstration of capability and effectiveness, coupled with the fact that last year, the projects that we did were 100% on time and on budget. So we've gone from an organization that was delivering 50% on time or less than 50% on time on budget 7 years ago to one that is delivering every single one of our projects on time and on budget. And this will be no different. This is a bridge, much like bridge reconstruction, although the existing bridge is much different than any other in our inventory. The reconstruction will be akin to many of the other bridges that we already rebuilt.
This happened under your watch. Shouldn't there be
Yes.
some accountability at RIDOT too? A day of reckoning at RIDOT, is that coming too?
That's all part of the forensic analysis that's being done. And as the governor said, all responsible parties that contributed to any kind of negligence will be held accountable for this.